Welcome to another edition of Anglican Unscripted. This is episode 217, the Why Is It Not Spring? It Keeps Snowing edition, except where you live. I'm Kevin Carlson.
And I'm George Conger. Today's February 11th, 2016.
Okay, let's be up front. We're going to do a more casual Anglican Unscripted than normal. Maybe it's a Lent thing. We're just going to give up our white screens. That's actually the back wall of George's kitchen. George's home for lunch. Has a little time to do an unscripted. I'm got my back ottoman here at the office, and that's what you're getting. You get to see casual unscripted. Hold on a second. I got a breaking news story. Looks like they have just proved Einstein's theory of space-time continuum is real. For those of you who enjoy stainless steel cars and Way Back to the Future with Marty McFly, I guess that would prove that string theory is real, which proves God is real. Any other breaking news out there, George?
Oh, yes, actually. Did you know the Reformation was caused by a blow on the head?
I had always thought that it was more than just midlife crisis. What's going on?
Yes, Yale University neuroscientists released a study this week that speculated that Henry VIII's erratic behavior was not caused by syphilis, bipolar disorder, Cushing's disease, all these sorts of excuses for how as a young man he was even-tempered, rather intelligent, progressive, and as an older man was rather vitriolic and violent and, killing two wives and all that. Turns out Henry had three major head traumas from jousting. One of these traumas left him unconscious for over 2 hours. And Henry, these Yale scientists speculated, developed the sort of brain trauma that football players and boxers get from repeated blows to the head. And the Yale scientists speculate that how the world would be different if Henry hadn't gotten bopped on the head.
So the Anglican Communion was started by a concussion.
Yes.
That makes
it's
sense.
all a dream. It's a head injury.
It's a head injury. Well, on to other real stories. I get you and I had a nice pre-show. What to talk about? There's not a lot of information out there to do a full unscripted on, but we're going to do our best because we're still off the high of the primates meeting. But now kind of the news is dried up. We could talk about the latest, Ashes to Go, which is really George and I just like pull our hair out. Look, it's all gone. And or we could talk about other things that George is like, well, we could talk about Presiding Bishop Curry's National Press Club appearance. I said, yeah, let's do that. And a little backup. At the Anglican Primates gathering in Canterbury, the primates said because the Episcopal Church changed their marriage canons to allow for same-sex genders to be married, we are going to hold them accountable for that. And the consequences are for 3 years they can't call themselves Anglican, they can't show up and preach dogma or doctrine, and they can't vote at places like the ACC and other things. And we find out from Bishop Curry that that's a fair response. George?
Yes, Michael Curry was asked by reporters at the National Press Club in Washington what he thought of the communique. And Michael Curry gave a really great answer in the sense that he was being absolutely honest. There was no spin, there was no deviousness, there was no deceit. It was a refreshingly great answer from a church leader. Michael Curry said, yes, the Episcopal Church has changed the doctrine of marriage. He made an admission that, for instance, the Canadians have been fighting tooth and nail to avoid saying that gay marriage is a major change of church doctrine. A little sidestep here. The Anglican Church of Canada has been tying itself in knots, saying that, gay marriage is just a pastoral issue. It doesn't really change anything. And the reason why they're doing this is because their constitution requires them to be in conformance to the wider Anglican world. They just can't change things willy-nilly the way the Episcopal Church thinks it can. And Michael Curry has just pulled the rug out from underneath Fred Hiltz and the Anglican Church of Canada by saying this is a major change of doctrine. And Michael Curry went on to say, and because of that, the primate's decision not to allow us to speak on behalf of the communion in terms of doctrine and discipline is fair because we don't share the same doctrine as they do.
Well, big admission. He also went on to say, but we have not been voted off the island. A reference to Survivor, where people are voted off the island when people don't like them for personality or other issues.
And again, Michael Curry's absolutely right. See, this has been a straw man issue from the very beginning. Some people have basically wanted to say the Episcopal Church has been kicked out. No, it hasn't. And then others on the liberal camp have made a great deal of noise about saying, well, the primates don't have the right to kick the Episcopal Church out. That's not what they did. No one said they did. But then they've spent all their time saying why they couldn't do something that wasn't done. Mm-hmm. Michael Curry is right that we've not been voted off the island, but we have been put in timeout. We've been disciplined. We've been sanctioned. However you want, whatever word or verb you want to use, we have been put in a corner, and we cannot represent ourselves as holding to the teachings of the wider church. See, Michael Curry then went on to say, I don't think we're going to be changing anything. I don't think we're going to be backing away from this issue. I mean, he didn't say things that I enjoyed hearing.
No.
But what he said is so refreshing to have somebody who's being honest as a leader of a major church.
And that's just it. I mean, he spoke with honesty. He didn't try and get around the issue. And in doing so, set himself up for the big question, if they're not going to change, what happens in 3 years? And you and I on our pre-show, we're trying to come up with all these different theories because, well, that's our job, is to analyze issues. And you said, Kevin, the big issue is not what is going to happen, amongst ourselves talking about it, but what the primates think. Because Oko thinks one thing, and Munir thinks something even more strong than Archbishop Oko. And let's talk a little bit about the responses we've had. Basically, the Africans are like, just because we were able to sanction the Episcopal Church with consequences doesn't mean we're all back together again.
Right. Nicholas Oko, in a January 18th letter to the Nigerian House of Bishops, said nothing's changed. We're still out of communion with the Episcopal Church, and I frankly don't think it's going to get any better. Archbishop Oko said that he expects the Brazilians and maybe the Scots and the Welsh to follow down the aisle, and the Canadians to follow down the American aisle and regularize gay marriage. Mm-hmm. And Nicholas Oko says, we're out of communion with those people, and I don't see it getting any better. I think this is just a 3-year suspension of execution, nothing more. Now you compare that to Munir Nis, the primate of the Middle East. Munir Nis says this is a 3-year opportunity for the Episcopal Church to get its act together, to come to some sort of conformance to the teachings of the wider church. Munir Nis is very hopeful that the Episcopal Church will take seriously the discipline imposed upon it and repent. Now, you and I may not be as strong as Nicholas Oko, but I don't think we're as optimistic as Munir Nis.
In fact, we should send him a link to the National Press Conference where all things are a go, according to Presiding Bishop Michael Curry. And then we have to think about, what does Justin Welby think? I mean, Justin Welby basically for a week in Canterbury gave the primates the authority to decide what Anglicanism kind of looks like, and that there is accountability at the highest level of Anglicanism. Is he still going to allow that transfer power to the primates to exist in 3 years?
Well, remember, Justin Welby was not the one who gave the primates that authority. The Lambeth conferences did. 88 and 98, they gave the primates enhanced authority to deal with these specific issues. That's what Drexel Gomez 5, 6, 10 years ago was beating the drum saying, look, the primates have been told to take care of this, and we are. It was Rowan Williams who derailed all that because the primates took care of it in Dar es Salaam, and Rowan Williams lay down on the job and didn't do what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Now we've had a repeat of Dar es Salaam, in the essence of the primates saying this is what must be done, and the attention is now on Justin Welby. Are you going to do it? If Welby does it, all is well. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't, I think we're going to see worse consequences than we did at 2008 when the Ugandans, Nigerians, and others boycotted the Lambeth Conference.
I understand there's going to be more primates meetings.
Yes.
In these future primates meetings, can they set up more structure for the Anglican Communion? If you hang out at some of these blog sites, we need a magisterium. We need a person who's going to say this is this and this is that, and just a guy at the top who not quite papal authority, but a little bit wiser than your average primate. Then there's the other people who say we should run this whole church through the ACC because it has multi levels of representation as laity, clergy, and bishops. And there's this function problem going on in the Anglican Communion now. Can they be addressed at the primates meeting?
No. We have a disconnect between the Church of Nigeria is larger than basically, the Church of England, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and America combined. Yet it has the same representation as those churches. It has the same voice as those churches. Now, it's one thing to have one primate, one vote. And then you've got the ACC, which gives the Episcopal Church and the Anglican Church of Canada the same vote as the Nigerians. The Anglican Church in North America is now bigger than the Anglican Church of Canada, all indications show. Mm-hmm. Yet there's no... the structures are deeply flawed. They're not representative of the facts on the ground, and they're representative of money, or where there used to be money. The Canadians are broke. They're not pulling their fair share of the costs anymore. The Episcopal Church has cut in half its contributions to the wider Anglican ACC budget, yet they're still given disproportionate authority. Mm-hmm. So the structures don't work. And if we are truly an Episcopal Church with lay people involved in the highest councils, then we need to find a way to represent that on the international scene. Because right now, we don't do that.
No, we don't. All right, this is Casual Anglican Unscripted 217. I'm Kevin Carlson.
And I'm George Conger. And you've been watching Anglican Unscripted, episode 217.